pretty ingenious thing I did on my 40 Buick. It's been a long night. But I took out the lock because, you know, it doesn't crank with the key. So I got one of these universal guys. I'm going to hook this up to a continuous duty relay and another relay and a way to divert off to some things that are going to stay 6 volt. I took the lock cylinder out and I drilled it out to go here. And I put the screw, you know, so it utilizes the same hole. Because I wanted to still use the same escutcheon, even though I broke it. Fucking thing. And stayed around for what, 80 years, and then I fucking broke it. So I drilled this out. I also, I don't know if you can see, hopefully I can see it. But the top there, this plate on top, the top of the lock had a little bit of problem. You see how that's extra big right there? Because I drilled it out. It had to be more than 3/4 because it figures that this is a 20mm thread. So this 20mm thread, I couldn't find another nut for it or anything like that. So, and it was, you know, even though I drilled it out 3/4, I had to go with a die grinder. And then I had a 7/8 drill bit, and I drilled out that because this was a bushing that I had bought, and I used a pipe cutter to cut it. Because this was always getting in the way of this guy right here. The body was hitting it. So by putting a little spacer, it was helping, but that's the smallest I could cut the spacer. You know, I can actually put that on more, but I figured when I bolt it all in, it'll definitely go down. So, you know, so I had to do this separately because this wouldn't go straight in. The lock would not go straight in because of the plate on the top there. Because with this, you have to turn it in place. Like you put it down here, you slide it, and then you go up. And when I go up, I couldn't really do it. So, like, I had to smash. You can see I smashed this a bit on the top. I actually grinded a little bit and smashed it down so it just fits. So now it'll just go straight in, and then I'll put that nut on. I'm going to pull everything probably with the nut, and then you can see that this guy over here, it's just, come on, zoom in. It's not zooming. I think I got oil on my hands or something. It's saying it's zooming, but it's not zooming. How come I got no light? Oh, now it's... Oh, well. So, that little nub right there, you can see it's just missing that, and it'll probably be tightened up a little bit more. I don't know why I can't even undo it now. Where the hell am I? Okay. So you can see it's close. Jesus, come on. It's close, so I got a little bit more room to go on because I want to catch some threads over here. But that should just clear it. I mean, just. With what I got to tighten it up. So I had to, in order to get a size that was half that, the other, that bushing I put in there, the bushing that I put here, you can see it's not all the way in, but between that and when I tighten it all up, that should go. Now, I had to drill out the other side a little bit and die grind it too, and it allows me to take up a little bit more of this, you know, because long story short, I couldn't get this thing thin enough, you know. I didn't know what else to use. You can't go too thick because then it does the same thing. It interferes. So this was perfect in a certain sense, but then, like I said, it was out too far, and then I wasn't exposing any threads on this side. So far so good. This is pretty ingenious. And then basically I'm going to tighten down the main nut first, get it tight. Then I'm going to put this on, which, like I said, I broke it, I put a crack in it, but I had to grind this on the outside here because it, you know, from drilling it, it actually bowed out a bit. Come on. Sorry, I'm a cinematographer and it's not easy. So I figured I'll tighten it, and hopefully, you know, since it's already cracked, I might just grind this down so the nut can definitely stay on. But I think that I'll get more nut out, you know, more threads out, so I can tighten that, but I may have to shave that down. Hopefully you don't notice it. This nut fits. There's another. This is just the adjusting nut that you would normally put, but it's barely enough. There's another nut that comes with it, and I'm trying to see if this will eventually go, but I want to do it without the plastic on first. I want to tighten it up first, and that should pull it in. And now this gives you a better way to start it with a key, as opposed to that whole shitty foot pedal crap. So that, you know, to me, that ultimately floods your engine if you have any kind of starting issues. But too many gizmos and gadgets back then, you know. But hopefully this will work. Worst case scenario, I was thinking about drilling a hole and putting a set screw in here so it didn't move, you know. But it's so binding, you know, in a certain sense. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. So hopefully this will come out pretty good in the end.